Good morning, everybody. It's officially 1:03 a.m. on April 1st. Time of recording is probably going to be quite a bit further in the future when you're listening to this, because we have finally arrived at the end of our exposition to find the best text editor one can use. And I saved the best for last, not necessarily because it's the best, but it's my personal favorite, most likely the one that we're going to be using for the largest majority of our time. Atom. I've known about Atom for a little while. The closest thing that I can compare it to is like Visual Studio. This one in particular is an open source text editor built by GitHub. This is a homepage for the website. It's got a really nice website homepage, which I feel like maybe it's not indicative of the quality of the app that you're going to be using to write a website, but definitely doesn't say anything bad about them. This is available on a ton of different systems. It has a ton of installers. You get access to the source code. You can install this via the terminal with Homebrew, I believe. You know what? Let's give it a try. I think it'd be brew install Atom, maybe. It seems to be doing stuff. It's installing. It's downloading something. Yeah, wow. So yeah, I think you can install it directly from the terminal, or you can download a DMG and install it that way. It's a great little app. And I don't know that it's the best out there. Like, I've actually heard some people say that it was like a little slow for them, so they don't love it. That's never been the case for me. This thing has always been super quick, super responsive. It is available on many different platforms, so maybe like on a PC, it doesn't work as well as it does for me on a Mac. I'll tell you, on my system, the MacBook Pro that I use for pretty much everything, it flies and it does really well. I like writing in this thing. The one feature that I have found through this expedition that is not in Atom is searching through folders to find elements that you want to link to in your page. That's a really, really killer feature, and I think more text editors should include it. But let's see what we can do with it. I'm going to go ahead and open up our folder that we've been editing in. So we'll do the action drive, HTML, open that up. We don't do split view by default, but it's very easy to do it. So we have one view here, we open up another and drag it over here to the side. We've got split view. One of the more no-nonsense split views of the text editors. Obviously autocomplete, find and replace, all that kind of stuff. Multiple themes, tons and tons of themes. Let's just get started. I think the best thing about this app is it's simple and it's easy to use. So let's set up our classes real quick. It's going to handle indentation for us pretty well. The autocomplete is really nice. It also is one that has like a memory, so it's going to remember which commands you use, like which autocomplete commands you use the most often. So you're not going to have to always search through to find what you're looking for. I don't know if that made any sense, but whatever. So we'll do color, white, kill that, and then let's do P1 is equal to... That's not what we're doing. Do the color. It's going to be, let's do RGB, 220, 220, 220. And then we'll do text. Ooh, I forgot to do the little semicolon there. It's a kind of a big mistake on my part. All right, and then we'll do text. No, I'm going all over the place here. Margin, 10%, and the margin, right, it's also going to be 10%. Close that out. And you know what? Hey, this is our last video. Let's do something a little special to celebrate. We're going to grab some custom fonts from Google. Let's see here. Let's get some good fonts that we like. We're gonna do Monostat. That's a good one. Let's make sure we got the right. Yeah, I want regular 400. And then we're gonna get. I need just like another good sans serif font for the. Oh, you know what? I like Lato. That's a good one. So then what we'll do is get the font family that we want, paste it right down in there, and then we'll do font size. We'll do 64 pixels. Close that out, and then why not? Let's give it some margins. 15% and margin right. 15%. I do a dark mode, but I have not cracked that yet. I've been working on that for a little while to try to figure out how to do it properly, and I'm not having a ton of luck getting it right. Variables within CSS is not something I have a lot of knowledge about, but I want to incorporate it into my website. So we're going to get there at some point. I'm just not there yet. Okay, so those should be fairly robust classes. So let's knock out the actual site real quick. So we're going to do, I think actually if we just do HTML There we go. Cool. That's what we want. All right. So title is going to be Adam is Dope. And up here in the head, we need to also paste that link to the fonts and then set up the link to our CSS. CSS.css. And then also relationship style sheet and kill that. And then in the body, I'm going to add our class body and then gonna get going with the H1 header. Class is going to be H1 and I'm just going to say, hey, Adam is still dope because it still is. I like it a lot. I feel like I'm biased because I've used it for a long time and I'm really comfortable in it, but it also is like, it's objectively good. It's objectively one of the top on the list, I feel like. So I don't think I'm showing too much favoritism, if you will. And today we are writing from one of my favorite books. This is Anthony Doerr's Pulitzer Prize winning novel, All the Light We Cannot See. And I'm creating a fourth class here because I know it's got a little header at the beginning of the chapter that I want to include. So I'm going to do H2 and then close that up and then H2. And the title is Leaflets, which if you've seen Dunkirk or know anything about World War II, that should give you a little bit of a hint at what the setting of the book is. This is actually a very, very good book. One that I would recommend to almost anyone. If you're super young, I wouldn't recommend it. Not that it's like heavy on language or anything, but there's a thing that happens towards the end of the book that I feel like isn't super suitable for kids. At dusk, they pour from the sky. They blow across the ramparts, churn cartwheels over rooftops, flutter into the ravines between houses. Entire streets swirl with them, flashing white against the cobbles. Get some italics here. Urgent message to the inhabitants of this town. They say, depart immediately to open country. And then we'll do some line breaks here. The tide climbs, the moon hangs small and yellow and gibbous on the rooftops of beachfront hotels to the east, and in the gardens behind them a half dozen American artillery units drop incendiary rounds into the mouths of mortars. So, are we ready to give it a little test here? I believe we are. Let's see how we did. You know what? Did I do the freaking body class right? Did I screw it up again? I think I did. There we go. So, that looks pretty nice. I definitely made a mistake up here by leaving the margin. So, we'll edit that a bit. And, okay. Alright, so this has been a fun journey to try to find the best text editor. I hope you enjoyed it. And I'm officially done stalling, and we can actually get into writing a website. So that's something to look forward to. It is for me. I don't know if anyone's watching this yet or if anyone's ever going to, but I'm pretty psyched. Just to recap our journey here. The ones that I like a lot. Brackets was a pretty good one. I feel like kind of simple, but it did when I wanted to. My two favorite obviously are Visual Studio and Atom. I had that weird issue with Visual Studio, like bottlenecking the CPU, but I uninstalled, reinstalled, and I haven't had the same problems. So maybe that was just a weird thing. Yeah, I mean, those are my two favorites, and I'm not picking them because they're free, but they do just happen to be free, and at least Atom is open source. You know what? Let me check if Visual Studio Code is multi-platform. I mean, it's going to work on at least PC and Mac, but okay, yeah, so it also does work on Linux. I feel like I checked that. So they're both going to be super multi-platform. They're going to work on everything, basically anything you're running on. They're going to have support for a ton of languages, autocomplete, split view, find and replace, and they're just really fun to write in. Yeah, so it's going to be one of those two that I end up using. Probably Atom, just because I have more experience with it. Also, one cool feature, you can like share directly to GitHub from the app if that's something you're into. So that's cool. Anyways, thank you very much for hanging in there through these videos. If you did, thanks again for watching. I appreciate it. And I will see you in the next video where we're actually gonna start trying to make a website.